What's going on, everybody? Kalipus Tech here, coming back at you with another video. In this video, I'm going to be giving you some tips and tricks for the Samsung Galaxy A24 4G to help you make the most of the camera features. Now, as always, if you end up wanting to learn more about this phone, be sure to check out the description, where I am linking to several other videos about it, as well as some information about pricing, availability, and some of my favorite smartphone accessories. But with that being said, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a quick way to get to your camera. Now, opening the camera app, of course, is easy enough, but if you're doing something else on your phone, there is a quicker way to do it. So to get to your camera, no matter what you're doing on your phone, all you have to do is double press the power key, so like this, and the camera opens right up. So let's try that one more time, this time on an app. There we go. And one really cool thing about this shortcut is it actually works when the display is locked too. So one last time. And there we go. And don't worry, this is not a shortcut to bypass your lock screen. If I try to do anything else, it will go right back to the lock screen. And in addition to this, if you're using an app that's not your camera app, like maybe Snapchat for example, you can actually have this open that instead. To do this, go to Settings. From here, go to Advanced Features. So right here. Then from here, go to Side Key. As you can see, by default, it will be set to Quick Launch Camera, but if you want, you can have it open any app on your phone, including the flashlight, which I did think was pretty cool. Now I'm going to show you how to use the ultra-wide camera. So we are in the main camera screen right now, and using the ultra-wide camera is real easy. All you have to do is hit the 0.5 right here. And as you can see, now we can fit a lot more in the frame. Now I'm going to show you how to use the macro camera. To do this, go to the More tab right here. And then from here, macro mode is right here. And then of course with this, you can get some real nice close-up detailed images. And keep in mind, when you're done taking macro photos, be sure to go back to the normal photo mode. Otherwise everything is going to be blurry, which of course you're not going to want. Now while we're in this More tab, I want to go over the other features we have. So we got Pro mode, Panorama, Food mode, Night mode, again macro right here, Slow motion, and hyperlapse. So definitely a decent amount of options, not quite as many as some slightly higher end phones, but for the average user, this most likely will be plenty. In addition to this, if you have a mode you find yourself using a lot and maybe you want quicker access to it, like for example say you're taking macro photos all the time, you can actually add it to the bottom bar down here. To do this, all you have to do is hit the plus right here. Then from here, for whatever mode you want to add, press and hold, drag it down here, and that's pretty much it. And then if you want to remove something, you can do the same thing. So fun mode for example, I'm going to press and hold, drag it up here, and there we go. To save it, hit save. And that's pretty much it. As you can see, macro mode is right down here, and fun mode is in the More tab. Now I'm going to show you how to change your aspect ratio. So by default, like pretty much every smartphone, the aspect ratio is going to be 3:4, but there are of course a few different options. So if we go here, you can choose between 3:4, 9:16, 1:1, or full, which in the case of this phone is going to be 19.5:9. In addition to this, also keep in mind with this phone, when you're taking photos in normal photo mode, despite having a 50 megapixel main camera, you're not actually going to be using the full 50 megapixels. So if you do want to get a really high resolution photo, what you can do is go up here, go to 3:4 at 50 megapixels, and now whenever you take a photo, it will be in the max resolution. But keep in mind, despite being much higher quality, the photos you take in this mode are going to take up a bit more space. Now, in my experience, it's not really that big a difference. The photos are like 20 megabytes each, if that. So in general, I would personally just use this mode as much as you want. But one potential drawback is you can only take them in 3:4, so keep that in mind. But yeah, aside from that, 50 megapixel mode is great. I personally use it all the time, so definitely a nice option to have. Now I'm going to show you how to take a burst shot. Now in case you don't know what this is, it's basically just a bunch of photos taken at the same time. With this phone it can go up to 30, so pretty cool. And to use the feature it's pretty easy. All you have to do is swipe the shutter down, so like this. And that's pretty much it. Again, it goes up to 30. So there we go. And now if we go to photos, as you can see, there are a bunch of shots here. Now in addition to burst shots, you can also create a GIF image instead. To do this, go to Settings. Then from here, go to where it says Swipe Shutter button. As you can see, by default it will be a burst shot, but if you go to Create GIF, now if we go back to the camera and do it one more time, that's pretty much it. So yeah, definitely a cool option. Not the most useful thing in my opinion, but if you are into those kind of fun features that may not really be that practical, but are at least kind of entertaining, then this is a cool thing to have. Now I'm going to show you how to take high efficiency photos and videos. Now this is essentially going to change your file types, so for a photo it's going to be an HEIF file instead of a JPEG, and for a video it's going to be an HEVC instead of an MP4. And essentially what this does is makes the file size a bit smaller, so it's going to make things a bit more efficient. So if you're taking lots of photos and videos, it will be a nice thing to have. But keep in mind these files are not exactly compatible with everything, so if you're taking a photo or video and you have a really specific purpose, then you might not want to use this. But in general, in my experience, for things people are typically using their cameras for, like social media for example and stuff like that, it will work perfectly fine. So anyway, to activate these features, the first thing you're going to want to do is go to settings. And now there are two different things you're going to want to do. So first, under pictures, toggle on high efficiency pictures, and then under videos, do the same for high efficiency videos. So with these on, again, whenever you take a photo, it's going to be an HEIF instead of a JPEG, and instead of MP4s, videos are going to be HEVCs. Now while we're in the settings menu, let's take a look at the grid lines. Now this in my opinion is a really useful feature, and in general if you're taking lots of photos, the grid lines are definitely nice to have. So again, in the main camera settings menu, go down to grid, so it's right here, toggle it on, and now if we go back to the camera, the grid is on. And then finally, the last thing I'm going to show you is a few different things you can do with the volume keys. Now by default, if you press either volume key, it's basically going to be like a physical shutter button, which this is pretty cool. So volume down and volume up. But there are a couple different options. To get to these, go to settings. Then from here, go to shooting methods. So right here. And go to where it says press volume keys. So again, by default, it will take a picture or record a video, but you can also have it zoom in or out or control the system volume. So for this, let's do zoom. Go back to the camera. And now volume up is going to zoom in. And volume down zooms out. And keep in mind, it does go all the way to the ultra wide camera. But this concludes my camera tips and tricks video for the Samsung Galaxy A24 4G. Again, if you want to learn more about this phone, definitely check out the description where I am linking to several other videos about it, as well as some information about pricing, availability, and some of my favorite smartphone accessories. But that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to follow Kalibus Tech on Twitter and Instagram. And as always, I will see you in the next video.